From the Samson Production Studios in the heart of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, it's your News 13.
Brought to you by SSP TV and the Standard Speaker.
Purse snatchings, robberies, and even a home invasion in the city of Hazleton have some residents feeling a little uneasy, especially our senior citizens. That's why one police officer made a special visit to a local senior center today to give some of our elders tips on how to stay safe. And later, a convicted murderer learns his fate. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us, everyone. I'm Kristen Bazinski. It's been a dangerous few weeks in the city of Hazleton, with more and more crime happening along city streets, even in broad daylight. It's a known fact that when the weather starts to get nice, more criminals start to creep around, keeping police very busy. But we all need to try to stay protected as best as we can, and that's why police officers are taking their job on the road and doing a little crime prevention 101. News 13's Jasmine Brooks joins me now and tells me a little bit more on today's lesson from the Hazleton City Police. Jasmine?
Well, that's right, Kristen. 5 purse snatchings, robberies, and even a home invasion in the city of Hazleton have some residents a little shaken up. So to ease some of their fears and help them if they should find themselves in a dangerous situation, Lieutenant John Leonard spoke with senior citizens Tuesday in downtown Hazleton. On the morning of May 15th, Kathy Gerard went to the Hazleton Senior Center, as she often does, to play her weekly game of Rummio with her girlfriends. After enjoying herself for hours, Kathy cleaned up her game and headed out, only to be greeted outside by an unexpected guest.
Well, as I was walking up to my car, this man came running up behind me and pushed me into the car and then started grabbing at my handbag.
In shock, it took Kathy a minute to realize what was actually happening.
I couldn't do much of anything because he had me against the car and he was pulling, and then my arm started hurting, so I just had to drop the arm and let the bag go.
Everything in that bag now gone. Kathy's money gone. All of her identification cards gone. Even her game of Rummio gone. Kathy, who has lived in Hazel Township most of her life, says the area has changed drastically over the years. Other seniors from the greater Hazleton area agree.
Definitely. I was born and raised here, and yes, it has. It's not the same.
Because years ago, when the town was good to walk, Wyoming and Alter, you could leave your doors open, your windows open.
With many residents worried about the recent purse snatchings, robberies, and even a home invasion in the city of Hazleton, Lieutenant John Leonard came to the senior center Tuesday morning to offer them tips on staying safe. Lieutenant Leonard says he wants people to be aware of the situation they're in and be able to sense and deter if they are a target for criminal activity or violence.
It's like your home. You want to fortify your home. You want good locks, good windows, good doors to protect your home. Similarly, when we're on the street, we want to maintain positive control of our belongings. We don't want to be dangling our purses from our wrists or forearm. We want them held around our shoulders, wallets in your pocket, money preferably in your front pocket. So these sorts of situations to make yourself a harder target for individuals who may want to commit a crime is very important.
Lieutenant Leonard also recommends traveling in groups, but says if you are targeted, to make noise to attract people to your location. And if you can, call the police. Some seniors that spoke with News 13 had some of their own strategies to stop the bad guys.
Mace. I have to get mace. And I always carry my cane. I always call it my weapon, which I always think it's going to help me. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
For a long time now, I stopped carrying a purse. I try to wear a jacket or something with a lot of pockets, and I don't have to carry my whole life in my purse like some older women do,
Another woman told News 13 she plans on carrying a knife in her hand so that people can see it when she is walking. Lieutenant Leonard says although this may be legal, it may not be necessary.
Those things aren't necessarily illegal. One lady asked me if I could carry scissors. Another asked if she could carry the small baseball bat that her son had. Yeah, by and large, the majority of people who are going to commit crimes like this are just looking for that property to steal. They're generally not looking to hurt someone, but that is the fear that things can escalate if you confront somebody with a weapon. Based on some of the ages and maybe physical abilities of some people who may be attacked, maybe they won't have the strength to use a weapon in a fight like that. So it's probably better to just, comply and just give up your property and call the authorities rather than trying to, protect yourself in an aggressive manner that might escalate the situation and end up with you getting hurt worse.
And as of now, the purse snatcher has not been caught. Police are now following up on leads and even have a picture of the perpetrator. Lieutenant Leonard also tells me extra officers are now patrolling the streets of the downtown area, especially during the morning hours. So Kristen, the search continues tonight. Hopefully the purse snatcher will not strike again.
We will keep our fingers crossed, and all of you at home, make sure you keep yourselves safe, especially the ladies out there. Jasmine, thank you.
Thank you.
Women getting robbed of their purses and pizza delivery workers getting beat up and their pizza snatched. It happened early this morning in the city of Hazleton. A Domino's pizza delivery guy in his 30s was the victim of what could be called a setup by at least 3 Hispanic men. We're told an order was made to a fake address, and when the Domino's worker arrived in the 200 block of Tamarack Street, the 3 men pushed him to the ground, hit him in the face, and got away with 3 pizza pies. All 3 suspects fled on foot. These 13 stopped by Domino's today, where workers said their co-worker is recovering from his injuries, which were minor.
Obviously, this is another concern, whether it be copycats or other groups who want to perpetrate this similar crime. So this is something we're looking into further. I know we have our detectives on it and other patrol officers, hopefully being able to come to resolution with it.
Lieutenant Leonard says this isn't the first time a pizza delivery person or other food delivery person has been robbed or attacked within city limits. Luckily for this victim, he was not seriously injured, and right now it does not look as though any cash was taken in the crime. Again, police are following up on leads and ask if you know anything to dial 911 immediately. Well, the family of an 80-year-old man who was involved in an accident in downtown Hazleton wants answers, and they've hit the pavement to get them. It was Friday, May 18th, just before 10 in the morning at the intersection of Broad and Laurel Streets. 80-year-old Walter Bloss Sr. was riding his motor scooter on Laurel Street when it was hit by a police SUV driven by Hazleton City Police Chief Frank D'Andrea. Bloss was ejected from the scooter and suffered serious injuries. He remains in the intensive care unit of Geisinger Hospital in Danville tonight. The investigation into the accident continues, and for now it's being handled by the Hazleton City Police Department, who has a trained accident reconstructionist reviewing the scene and evidence. But the family wants answers, and they need witnesses. Flyers like this one have been posted in many windows of downtown businesses by the Bloss family. Members of the family tell News 13 that their dad never lost consciousness after the accident, and he claimed that he had the green light on Laurel Street. Witnesses at the scene of the crash had varying accounts of what happened, and the Blosses want any other witnesses to come forward. The Bloss family asks that you call 751-6735 if you can provide any information related to this accident, or of course call the Hazleton City Police at 911. Again, the police investigation continues into exactly how the downtown accident happened. Troopers and the mother of a local teen need your help tonight in finding the 15-year-old who has been missing since last Thursday. This is 15-year-old Tyler Mojica. His mother went to state police Monday after he did not return home on Thursday night after he told her he was going to play basketball. Mojica stands about 6 feet 2 inches tall, is about 150 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. Troopers say Mojica has done this before and returned home days later. If anyone has information on Tyler Mojica's whereabouts, you're asked to call state police. That number is 459-3890. Congratulations in order tonight for 21 fifth grade students who successfully completed a big dare in school. The students were dared to make the right choices in life through DARE education. DARE standing for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. For the past 10 weeks, Hazleton Police First Lieutenant John Leonard spent time with the 5th graders, teaching them about the dangers of drugs and alcohol and reaching out to them about peer pressure and bullying. And today was graduation day, with all of the students completing their DARE report as the final project and receiving their DARE certificate. State Representative Tara Toohill was today's guest speaker.
There's two paths in life. There's the right way and the wrong way. And they're, as children, when they're growing up, they're going to be faced with difficult decisions on which way to go. So hopefully, the more you educate kids, statistically, it shows that it really does work, that education works, and it will keep them away from drugs and off of drugs.
Basically, what we want to do is, at an early age, give them information about alcohol, tobacco, other drugs, so they can make an informed decision when they come in contact. Eventually, they're going to be coming into contact with these sorts of substances. So if they have good knowledge of the dangers and harmful effects of these items, they will hopefully make a good decision on their own.
4 students gave speeches at graduation today and were recognized for being honor graduates and distinguished honor graduates. The DARE program is a nationally recognized program that's been around for years. I even remember a DARE class when I was in 5th grade. Congratulations to all of today's graduates. Remember to make the right choices. And speaking of graduation, high school seniors from the Hazleton Area High School will be doing just that this Friday. For News 13's last super segment of the year, I hate to say that, our Jasmine Brooks talked with administrators about the much anticipated event.
For this week's super segment, it is our very last super segment of the year, and with that comes graduation, which is coming up this Friday, June 1st. I am joined by Dr. Antonelli and Mr. Basic. So Dr. Antonelli, tell me a little bit about the plans for graduation this Friday.
Well, first of all, we're sad that this is the last super segment for the year, and we certainly look forward to working with you and Channel 13 at the start of the new school year in late August. Graduation is planned for Friday, June 1st. We have a beautiful ceremony planned for that evening. We are graduating approximately 750 students. We would like everyone to know that we do have handicap parking and handicap seating available. If you should be in need of the parking or the seating, we're asking you to enter from the west from Route 93 to the high school. At that point, you will be directed by our security staff to the handicap parking, which is located very near the handicap seating. We do have a rain date scheduled for Saturday, June 2nd at 6 p.m., and also another rain date scheduled for Monday, June the 4th at 6 p.m.
Okay, now Mr. Basic, 750 students graduating, but they are graduating outside. So if it does rain, when will you make that call to postpone it?
Well, and we are all hoping for beautiful weather on Friday, so we don't have to worry about even making any kind of a decision as far as the weather is concerned. But in the event that there is anything even in the forecast, there will be a committee meeting at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon, headed by Mr. Petrone, the principal of the high school, and including members of our maintenance staff, custodial staff, and so on, looking at the weather forecasts, checking the weather radar pictures that, thankfully for the internet, we can get now and take a look at the future, and then making a decision as to whether graduation will go on Friday night. Once the decision is made, if the decision is made to begin graduation, then the graduation ceremony will finish on Friday night. There is a plan in place that even if the weather should turn ugly during the ceremony, that we would go over to the high school and go into the gymnasium, students have a certain number of tickets, and that's all worked out with the students and their families and so on at this time. If indeed the decision is made to postpone graduation, it'll be postponed until Saturday, and then 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon we'll be meeting again, coming up with that decision based upon the weather. And if unfortunately it gets postponed both Friday and Saturday, it will be held rain or shine on Monday, outside if the weather permits. If not, then it'll be inside the gymnasium. But Monday is the last kind of hurrah that we will have. After that decision is made, we're going to live with the decision that gets made.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Antonelli, what can you add? Will there be any guest speakers or anything like that at this graduation?
There won't be any guest speakers. Administration will offer comments, and of course, congratulations to our graduates. But it is an evening for the graduates, and we certainly hope that everyone can attend. It should be a lovely evening. Again, this Friday, June 1st, 6 p.m. in front of the high school for our graduation ceremonies for the class of 2012.
Okay, thank you so much. And it was a pleasure working with both of you all year long, so thank you so much. And for more information about any postponements on graduation, you can go to hasdk12.org, or of course Channel 13 will also keep you posted on that information. So for this week's Super Segment, I'm Jasmine Brooks reporting for News 13.
Hard to believe it's the end of another school year, but again, thank you to all of the administrators and everyone who participated in this year's Super Segment. We'll do it again next year. You can count on it. Coming up next on News 13, Freddie B is in with sports, and we have another News 13 giveaway, so get ready to call in and win. Also ahead tonight, they are pesky little bugs that could carry a harmful virus. Where the state is now taking action to stop the bugs from biting. It's all coming up. All right, good luck if you played today's midday lottery. Your daily number, 513 big 49634, Quinto 23893, and Treasure Hunt 9, 11, 22, 26, and 30. Again, good luck.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's social news. First tonight, happy 38th anniversary to Rosemary and Eddie Cellini. This wish comes with love from your mother and Aunt Helen. And one quick announcement for tonight in Talk of the Town. St. Jude's in Mountaintop will be holding an international Fest in the Grove, June 1st and 2nd. The event will have live entertainment, ethnic food from several countries, traditional picnic favorites, and much more. And you could also stop by for a chance to win a dream vacation as a part of the raffle. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Michael Bodner of Weatherly. Funeral services will be held Thursday at 9:30 a.m. from the Stanley E. Analoski Funeral Home. Friends may call Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Charles Brian Gilbert Smith of Arcadia, California, formerly of Sybertsville. Graveside service will be held in the Cunningham Union Cemetery June 8th at 1 p.m. The Harmon Funeral Home is assisting the family with the arrangements. Teresa M. Chesla of Shenandoah. Funeral will be held Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. from the Walukovitz-Orovitz-Fell Funeral Home. Friends may call Wednesday from 8:30 a.m. until the time of service. Anthony Romano, formerly of Weatherly. Mass will be held Thursday at noon at Our Lady of Lourdes Church. Friends may call Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Philip J. Jeffries Funeral Home. Anna Watonick of West Hazelton. Funeral will be held Friday at 9 a.m. from the Frank J. Bonham Funeral Home. Friends may call Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. Daniel C. Perrell Jr. of Hazelton. Arrangements will be announced by the Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home. And Mary Steika of Mahanoy City. The Louis D. Truskowski Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Tonight's obituaries have been brought to you by the Smilax Floral Shop located on 15th Street in Hazelton. Free delivery to all local funeral homes. Call 570-454-0111. And by Mia's. Don't settle for second best when dining out. Discover Mia's all-new low-price menu for 2012. And remember, there's always plenty of free gated parking behind the Markle Building.
Well, if you've spent any time outside lately, I'm sure you've taken notice to all the mosquitoes that are out on the prowl. Not only are their bites itchy, but they can be dangerous. Mosquitoes are a carrier of the West Nile virus, which can cause some serious medical conditions. That is why the Department of Environmental Protection will be spraying in one part of Schuylkill County tonight. Some recreational and residential areas of Klein Township will be sprayed to protect against the pesky bugs. Representatives of the Department of Environmental Protection will spray a product that is designed to provide quick and effective control of adult mosquito populations. Now, we're told the spray is environmentally friendly and is not harmful to humans or animals. Officials will begin to spray around 8 tonight in the Calairs area. So far, there have been no confirmed human cases of West Nile in Pennsylvania. However, it has been found in 8 counties across the Keystone State. For more information on the West Nile virus and the state's surveillance and control program, visit westnile.state.pa.us. Another sunny day for us outside with the high temps making a comeback today. Will they be sticking around tomorrow? Sticky weather, you get it? Well, we'll find out in just a second, but first, here's today's creative condition sent to us from Rafael Guzman. Rafael's a 7th grader from the Hazleton Elementary Middle School, and his picture is quite unique. It's all about having a good time in the sunshine, and he tells us that the 2 girls that are featured are twins. I wonder if they're his friends. Your forecast for tonight: showers, thunderstorms are likely. We know there's some really bad weather hitting central Pennsylvania right now as we speak, and it looks like it's headed our way. Keep an eye on that. Low down to 61 tonight. Tomorrow we see mostly sunny skies for most of your Wednesday. Slight chance of showers. 77 will be our high. So it looks like we're going to cool off a bit as we hit the midweek mark. Your forecast brought to you by Just Windows and much more. 636-1133 First Street, Freeland. The pros in windows and doors since 1985. JustWindowsandMore.com is the website. All right, here we go. It was a great but hot day to hit the green today, and if you haven't busted those golf clubs out yet, News 13 is giving you the perfect reason to do so. We're giving one lucky viewer 2 passes to the 18-hole green at Sand Springs to enjoy a hole-in-one at the golf course in Drums. Call 459-9813 right now to win. It's for your live at 4 newscast only. Good luck. And make sure you stay with us tonight. More local news is headed your way next. This convicted murderer now knows how long he will be spending behind bars for his involvement in a double homicide in the middle of a downtown Hazleton street. The verdict is our top story right now, live at 4:30.
From the Samson Production Studios in the heart of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, it's your News 13.
Hey again, everyone. Thanks so much for staying with us this evening. I'm Kristen Baczynski. Well, it took a jury less than an hour to convict Rodolfo Geraldo Perez of murdering Vladimir Ruiz last January in the middle of a downtown Hazleton street. And today, the convicted murderer learned he will spend the rest of his life behind bars with no possibility of parole. His trial back in April only lasted about 5 days. Investigators said Geraldo Perez stabbed Ruiz to death while another man, Angel Sanchez, repeatedly beat him. Sanchez pled guilty to the murder. Geraldo Perez is a known gang member from the Dominican Republic and will now spend the rest of his life in prison, plus another 20 to 40 years for conspiracy to commit murder. And again, he has no possibility of parole. The deadly fight happened at the intersection of Green and Wyoming streets and was caught on surveillance cameras from a nearby business. The video was shown in Perez's trial as part of the prosecution's evidence. Prosecutors say it clearly showed Geraldo Perez stabbing Ruiz and Sanchez beating him. Another man died that night. Judah Hope, a friend of Ruiz's. Hope was shot. His alleged killer, Willis Gonzalez, remains on the loose tonight. Also, we want to tell you that Sanchez, who again pled guilty to the crime, will be sentenced on June 14th. A man from Drums is locked up tonight for stealing from 2 local businesses. He stole gas and food. Sugarloaf police tell us 50-year-old Vincent Wagner of Snow Valley Road in Drums first drove off without paying for about $60 in gas from the Gulf fuel station on Route 93. He committed that crime back in April. Then, just a few weeks later in mid-May, Wagner ate and drank over $71 worth of a dinner at Damon's in Sugarloaf and fled before paying the bill. He's now behind bars in the Luzerne County Prison. After 2 brothers were caught by Hazleton police in January of 2011 for going on a burglary spree, one of them has pled guilty. 30-year-old Angel Vargas of Allentown has confessed to robbing 96 businesses in 5 different counties. Vargas pleaded guilty Monday and could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Vargas's brother, 29-year-old George Washington, awaits trial this summer. You may remember the 2 men were caught in Hazleton after breaking into a smoke shop in the city. It's been a dangerous few weeks in the city of Hazleton, with more and more crime happening along city streets, even in broad daylight. It's a known fact that when the weather starts to get nice, more criminals start to creep around, keeping police very busy. But we all need to try to stay protected as best as we can, and that's why police officers are taking their job on the road and doing a little crime prevention 101. And News 13's Jasmine Brooks joins me now to talk a little bit about today's lesson from Hazleton Police. Jasmine?
That's right, Kristen. 5 purse snatchings, robberies, and even a home invasion in the city of Hazleton have some residents a little shaken up. So to ease some of their fears and help them if they themselves should be in danger, Lieutenant John Leonard spoke with senior citizens Tuesday in downtown Hazleton. On the morning of May 15th, Kathy Gerard went to the Hazleton Senior Center, as she often does, to play her weekly game of Romeo with her girlfriends. After enjoying herself for hours, Kathy cleaned up her game and headed out, only to be greeted outside by an unexpected guest.
Well, as I was walking up to my car, this man came running up behind me and pushed me into the car and then started grabbing at my handbag.
In shock, it took Kathy a minute to realize what was actually happening.
I couldn't do much of anything because he had me against the car and he was pulling, and then my arm started hurting, so I just had to drop the arm and let the bag go.
Everything in that bag now gone. Kathy's money gone. All of her identification cards gone. Even her game of Romeo gone. Kathy, who has lived in Hazel Township most of her life, says the area has changed drastically over the years. Other seniors from the greater Hazleton area agree.
Definitely. I was born and raised here, and yes, it has. It's not the same.
Because years ago, when the town was good to walk, Wyoming and Alter, you could leave your doors open, your windows open.
With many residents worried about the recent purse snatchings, robberies, and even a home invasion in the city of Hazleton, Lieutenant John Leonard came to the senior center Tuesday morning to offer them tips on staying safe. Lieutenant Leonard says he wants people to be aware of the situation they're in and be able to sense and deter if they are a target for criminal activity or violence.
It's like your home. You know, you want to fortify your home. You want good locks, good windows, good doors to protect your home. Similarly, when we're on the street, we want to maintain positive control of our belongings. We don't want to be dangling our purses from our wrists or, forearm. We want them, held around our shoulders, wallets in your pocket, money preferably in your front pocket. So these sorts of situations to make yourself a harder target for individuals who may want to commit a crime is very important.
Lieutenant Leonard also recommends traveling in groups, but says if you are targeted, to make noise to attract people to your location, and if you can, call the police. Some seniors that spoke with News 13 had some of their own strategies to stop the bad guys.
Mace. I have to get mace. And I always carry my cane. I always call it my weapon, which I always think it's going to help me. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
For a long time now, I stopped carrying a purse. I try to wear a jacket or something with a lot of pockets, and I don't have to carry my whole life in my purse like some older women do,
Another woman told News 13 she plans on carrying a knife in her hand so that people can see it when she is walking. Lieutenant Leonard says although this may be legal, it may not be necessary.
Those things aren't necessarily illegal. One lady asked me if I could carry scissors. Another asked if she could carry the small baseball bat that her son had. By and large, the majority of people who are going to commit crimes like this are just looking for that property to steal. They're generally not looking to hurt someone, but that is the fear that things can escalate if you confront somebody with a weapon. Based on some of the ages and maybe physical abilities of some people who may be attacked, maybe they won't have the strength to use a weapon in a fight like that. So it's probably better to just, comply and just give up your property and call the authorities rather than trying to, protect yourself in an aggressive manner that might escalate the situation and end up with you getting hurt worse.
And as of now, the purse snatcher has not been caught. Police are now following up on leads and even have a picture of the perpetrator. Lieutenant John Leonard also tells me extra officers are now patrolling the streets of the downtown area, especially during the morning hours. So again, the purse snatcher has not been caught. Hopefully, he will not strike again.
We will keep our fingers crossed that he does not and that he is caught soon. I have confidence in our police department. Thanks so much, Jazz. Well, women getting robbed of their purses and pizza delivery workers getting beat up and their pizzas snatched. It happened early this morning in the city of Hazleton. A Domino's pizza delivery guy in his 30s was the victim of what could be called a setup by at least 3 Hispanic men. We're told an order was made to a fake address, and when the Domino's worker arrived in the 200 block of Tamarack Street, the 3 men pushed him to the ground, hit him in the face, and got away with 3 pizzas. All 3 suspects fled on foot. News 13 stopped by Domino's today, where workers said their co-workers recovering from his injuries, which were minor.
Obviously, this is another concern, whether it be copycats or other groups who want to perpetrate the similar crime. So this is something we're looking into further. I know we have our detectives on it and other patrol officers, hopefully being able to come to resolution with it.
Lieutenant Leonard says this isn't the first time a pizza delivery person or other food delivery worker has been robbed or attacked within the city. Luckily for this victim, he was not seriously injured, and right now it does not look as though any cash was taken in the crime. Again, police are following up on leads and ask if you know anything to dial 911 immediately. And coming up on News 13, McAdoo residents suffered flood damage over the holiday weekend. The question is, if anything will be done to help aid those who were affected. More on that in just a bit, but first we head to Holy Family Academy, where students were dared to make good decisions in life, and some congratulations are now in order. Stay with us. Well, congratulations are in order tonight for 21 fifth grade students who successfully completed a big dare in school. The students were dared to make the right choices in life through DARE education. DARE standing for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. For the past 10 weeks, Hazleton Police First Lieutenant John Leonard spent time with the fifth graders, teaching them about the dangers of drugs and alcohol and reaching out to them about peer pressure and bullying. And today was graduation day, with all of the students completing their DARE report as the final project and receiving their DARE certificate. State Representative Tara Toohill was the guest speaker.
There's 2 paths in life. There's the right way and the wrong way. And they're, as children, when they're growing up, they're going to be faced with difficult decisions on which way to go. So hopefully, the more you educate kids, statistically, it shows that it really does work, that education works, and it will keep them away from drugs and off of drugs.
Basically, what we want to do is, at an early age, give them information about alcohol, tobacco, other drugs, so they can make an informed decision when they come in contact. Eventually, they're going to be coming into contact with these sorts of substances. So if they have good knowledge of the dangers and harmful effects of these items, they will hopefully make a good decision on their own.
4 students gave speeches at graduation today and were recognized for being honor graduates and distinguished honor graduates. The DARE program is a nationally recognized program that's been around for years. I even remember DARE class when I was in 5th grade, just like these guys. Congratulations to all of today's graduates, and remember to make the right choices. It was a sight the residents in McAdoo thought they would never see. Streets and sidewalks underwater and homes with flooded out basements and backyards. And now the question tonight, will the borough get any help from the state or federal government? This is what it looked like on Saturday in McAdoo. 4 to 5 inches of water laying in the middle of Kennedy Drive near Fegley's gas station and on Blaine Street near Butler Street. Many of the streets were flooded out. People were stranded in their cars and basements ruined. It was a mess in McAdoo and many other Schuylkill County communities. from a strong line of storms that blew through quickly. Today, News 13 talked with McAdoo Borough Councilman Joe Madochik about what the borough has learned about the possibility of federal money coming into McAdoo to help with the cleanup.
And it looks like funding may not be available. We're still going to hopefully wish and keep our fingers crossed that maybe something will change. But it's explained to us that it's such a small area hit in the county that it wasn't an expanded area of the county. And it goes by funding of the properties and the damage too. So I don't think the damage of a basement was to exceed a certain percentage of the property of the home is what they have explained to us. So basically right now it's looking like there won't be. It'll be the homeowners covered under their insurance and naturally under the floodplain. But we're still going to hope, and we'll still make phone calls, and hopefully we could change something. But right now it's not looking good.
And as Councilman Madochik said, it is not looking good for the borough, but they're not going to give up. Officials will continue to fight for help, and Mayor Dane Wadsworth says he'll also look into ways to get the borough some assistance. Many residents that were affected by the flooding are still cleaning up today. Madochik told us that the residents hit by the flooding were able to put more bulk items out for trash today, and he asks all residents to be patient. If your garbage was not picked up, it will be picked up by the end of tonight. Governor Corbett's voter ID law has raised some concerns for voters, especially senior citizens without driver's license. Just last week, state officials announced a simplified process with hopes of eliminating the concerns. It is a program for people born in Pennsylvania to get a non-driver ID card for voting purposes. Now, the program is in place and is free of charge. It can certify the birth certificates of any Pennsylvania native, eliminating the need to purchase a duplicate birth certificate and the need for a driver's license. It takes only 10 days to receive the card. The state is working together with PennDOT and the Department of Health to ensure that no eligible voter is denied their right to vote during the election in November. Anyone who has purchased a duplicate birth certificate for voting reasons after March 14th is eligible for a refund. You can visit health.pa.us to get that refund. Headed your way on News 13, Freddie B is in and talks sports, a little baseball and much more. After a beautiful holiday weekend, we're hoping it stays dry and sunny. A look at your 4-day outlook also coming up with Fred. And later, local business women enjoyed a bite to eat while getting gardening tips that can help them have some fun this summer and save some money. Stay with us. Well, not everyone is lucky enough to have a green thumb like me. Whether you believe that myth, one thing is for sure, that gardening takes trial and error, time, observation, and some experience. The ladies from the Greater Hazleton Chamber Women's Networking Committee brought in an expert for tips and tricks for container gardening while enjoying lunch. News 13 stopping by Lobitz Catering Tuesday afternoon, where guest speaker Sandy Vizentainer of Vizentainer Nursery and Penn State Master Gardeners shared her expertise on everything from how to choose plants and containers to watering tips and demonstrations on using pots to grow vegetables, herbs, and flowers. Sandy's presentation gave the ladies insight on how to be thrifty, frugal, and fun. Vizentainer says pots can contain everything. You can mix and match. They can be all vegetables, all herbs, all flowers, or a combination, as long as they have similar properties. Sandy has a special formula she calls thrillers, spillers, and fillers. She does many workshops, so if your not so green thumb has been keeping you from gardening, or you simply would like to learn about container gardening, look out for future events like this one, sponsored by Lawn Specialties. It was a hot one outside today, that is for sure. The big question, will the high temps making it sticky out there be sticking around? That answer's headed your way, but first a look at tonight's creative conditions sent to us by 7th grade student at the Hazleton Elementary Middle School, Raphael Guzman. Thanks so much, Raphael, for this beautiful picture of two sisters having a great time. Here is your 4-day outlook. We'll start off with tonight's showers, and those thunderstorms, they are getting closer and closer, hitting central Pennsylvania a little while ago pretty bad, and they are moving our way. Keep an eye out tonight, low down to 61 degrees. Wednesday, Thursday, we're looking for sunny skies. We're going to dip in temps, 77 Wednesday, Thursday, only 67. And then for your Friday, look for a chance of rain, mostly cloudy, high near 70. Saturday, it's looking like the clouds are sticking around, chance of showers a possibility, and we're only getting up to 63 degrees on Saturday. Lazy Dog Salon bringing you the forecast. North Broad Street, West Hazleton. Call 459-0310 to make an appointment for your furry friend today. And right down the street from the Lazy Dog, don't forget to stop by Valley High Drive and Route 93, West Hazleton. Food, ice cream, and so much more. It's that time of year. Time to stop by Valley High and fill that belly. That'll do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. You can catch this newscast again with a rebroadcast throughout tonight, or simply go to News 13's website whenever you'd like, ssptv.com, where you're going to find everything Greater Hazleton and beyond. It's all just a click away. On behalf of your News 13 team, be safe. We'll see you back here Wednesday. Good night.